Have you ever felt that your goodness is a curse, that your pure heart, your unwavering honesty, your boundless empathy are seen not as treasures, but as weaknesses to be exploited? If you've ever given your all, only to be left drained, betrayed, and wondering why the universe seems to punish the kindest souls, then this message is a divine appointment for you. You are not wrong, you are not foolish, and you are certainly not alone. You have simply been playing a divine game with an incomplete rulebook. What you are about to hear will illuminate the hidden laws of power and spiritual sovereignty that have been kept from you. This is the awakening you've been praying for. If this message resonates deep within your soul, let the universe know by liking this video and share your journey in the comments with a simple "I am awakening" to connect with your tribe. Your story matters. If you believe that simply vibrating at a frequency of love and light is enough to navigate this world and manifest your destiny, you are making a profound, soul-level error. The world we inhabit, this dense, physical plane of existence, does not operate on a system that automatically rewards pure goodness. It doesn't. In fact, it often preys upon it. This earthly matrix is designed to test you, to challenge you, to force you to alchemize your divine light into unbreakable strength. The system itself is calibrated to exploit unchecked kindness. Just look around you, open your spiritual eyes, and truly perceive. The most empathetic souls, the givers, the healers, are often the ones left utterly exhausted, their spiritual energy depleted. They are the ones who have been betrayed by those they trusted implicitly, left wondering in the dark night of the soul, why does this always happen to me? Why does my goodness lead to so much pain? How many times have you extended your hand to lift someone up, only for them to pull you down once they found their footing? How many times have you opened your heart, revealing your vulnerabilities with absolute trust, only to see that sacred trust shattered and your honesty used as a weapon against you? How many times have you been the beacon of light for others, only to be ignored, used, and cast aside once your purpose in their life was served? Our society, from a very young age, programs us with a misleading spiritual narrative. It's a beautiful, comforting fairy tale that teaches us, just be a good person, be honest, be kind, and everything will work out. The universe will reward you. We are taught that goodness is a magnetic force for blessings. But the Akashic records of human history, the very energetic imprint of our collective experience, tell a far different, more complex story. The individuals who truly hold power, who shape destinies and command respect, understand a fundamental universal law that has been veiled from the masses. They know that in this dimension of duality, goodness alone is not enough. Your divine kindness must be paired with divine intelligence. Your pure heart must be protected by spiritual armor. The name Machiavelli often conjures images of darkness, of deception, manipulation, and even a chilling cruelty. It vibrates at a frequency that makes many spiritually minded people recoil. But this is a misunderstanding born from a surface-level perception. Those who have the wisdom to look deeper, to read between the lines of his work, understand the profound truth he was revealing. He was not a teacher of evil. He was a master realist, a cartographer of the human shadow, courageously mapping the terrain of power as it truly is, not as we wish it to be. He was revealing the hidden mechanics of this world so that the virtuous would not be perpetually defeated by the cunning. And the ultimate truth he unveiled is this: the world, in its current state of consciousness, respects power, not just kindness. People will tolerate your presence. They will accept your gifts. They will bask in your light only as long as you are useful to their own journey, to their own agenda. Machiavelli gave a stark warning, a divine heads-up that most people, wrapped in the comfort of their hopeful illusions, choose to ignore. If you are always good, always yielding, always transparent, you will inevitably be used and discarded. And this is not some abstract philosophical theory. You can see this universal law playing out in every corner of your reality. It is the undercurrent of politics, the foundation of business, the hidden dynamic in countless relationships, and the subtle dance you witness in everyday life. Think of the political stage. Leaders rise not always on the merit of their ideals, but on their projection of unshakable power and authority. They promise change, they speak of justice, they appeal to our highest aspirations. But behind closed doors, ruthless deals are made, compromises that betray those very ideals are struck, all in the service of securing and maintaining power. In the corporate world, corporations brand themselves with the language of ethics and care. They create entire marketing campaigns around their supposed virtue. Yet, they will lay off thousands of loyal employees in a heartbeat or crush smaller competitors without a second thought if it serves their bottom line. Morality becomes a flexible tool, an outfit to be worn for public perception, easily shed when it becomes inconvenient. Even in the sacred space of personal relationships, how often do we hear people proclaim their belief in loyalty and honesty, only to see those values crumble at the first sign of temptation or a more appealing opportunity? So, the fundamental question for your soul's evolution is this: will you continue to be merely good, operating from a place of naive purity, and allow the lower vibration energies of the world to walk all over you, to drain your life force? Or will you finally awaken? Will you learn how the currents of power and influence truly flow, not so you can become like those who manipulate, but so you can protect your own divine mission? Because if you hold the belief that strategy is only for the wicked, that setting boundaries is unspiritual, that protecting your energy is selfish, then you have already surrendered the game before it has even begun. You have handed your sovereignty to the wolves. Machiavelli's darkest and most vital lesson is not an invitation to become ruthless. It is a sacred calling to stop being naive. It is about forging your spiritual armor, not to attack, but to protect the divine treasure that is your heart. Let us begin this sacred forging. We are raised on a diet of the same well-intentioned but incomplete advice. Be kind, be honest, and good things will come to you. Society paints this picture of morality as a straight and narrow path, leading directly to a life of success and fulfillment. It's a fairy tale where the pure of heart are always rewarded and the malevolent are always punished. But reality, as you have painfully experienced, does not follow this script. It is a far more nuanced and challenging terrain. Think about it. How many times have you witnessed genuinely good-hearted people, souls who radiate compassion and integrity, being overlooked, exploited, or betrayed? Consider the dedicated employee, the one who always stays late, works harder than anyone, and never complains. They are the bedrock of the company, yet they are consistently passed over for promotions, their loyalty taken for granted. Think of the friend who is your rock, the one who is always available, always giving, always forgiving. They are the emotional anchor for their entire circle, yet they are the one whose own needs are consistently ignored, the one who is called only when something is needed. Or the partner in a relationship who loves selflessly, who pours their entire being into nurturing the connection, only to be discarded when their kindness is mistaken for a lack of self-worth, for weakness. We are taught by our culture to equate kindness with strength, but this is a dangerous oversimplification. In the real world, in this complex matrix of human interaction, kindness that is not fortified with wisdom and discernment is often perceived as an open invitation for exploitation. Those who are too trusting, too open, and too eager to please become easy, energetic targets. They operate from a beautiful, high frequency of giving, but they forget the other half of the universal law, the law of receiving and of energetic sovereignty. They give more than they take, projecting an expectation of fairness onto a world that does not always play fair. But you must understand that fairness is not a universal constant. It is a social construct, a high ideal that is frequently and unceremoniously ignored the moment power, survival, and self-interest enter the equation. This does not mean that your kindness is useless. Far from it. Your kindness is a divine gift. But it means that kindness without intelligence, kindness without boundaries, kindness without a keen awareness of human nature is not a virtue. It is a liability. This is precisely the truth that Machiavelli was trying to convey. He did not dismiss morality. He understood its true function in the game of power. He simply recognized that morality, on its own, does not guarantee success or even survival. A good person without strategy is like a sheep wandering into a pack of wolves, believing its innocence will protect it. It won't. Machiavelli saw that true, sustainable power, the ability to affect change and protect what you value, lies in balance. A person who is purely good, who refuses to acknowledge the existence of the shadow in others, will be devoured by those who are cunning and strategic. Conversely, a person who is purely ruthless, who operates without any moral compass, will eventually inspire such fear and hatred that they too will fall, their foundation built on the unstable ground of tyranny. The key, the secret to spiritual sovereignty in this world, is to be kind, but never naive. It is to understand that your goodness must be paired with an unshakable awareness. Your commitment to fairness should never come at the cost of your own survival and your divine mission. The world does not reward blind virtue. It rewards those who play the game with their eyes wide open, their hearts protected, and their strategy aligned with a higher purpose. Machiavelli's most unsettling lesson is also his most liberating and crucial one. He stated that humans are, by their very nature, selfish, fickle, and can be cruel when they deem it necessary. No matter how much our higher selves wish to believe in the inherent goodness of all people, the brutal honesty of history and our own lived experiences repeatedly prove otherwise. When survival, power, or self-interest is at stake, the ideals of morality often become alarmingly flexible. We see it in the grand theater of politics, and we see it in the quiet betrayals of our personal lives. This is not a cynical worldview, it is a realistic one. It is not about losing faith in humanity, it is about gaining a grounded understanding of its dualistic nature. Machiavelli understood that morality is not a fixed, absolute principle that governs all human behavior. For most, it is a strategy. Some people adhere to strong moral codes because they genuinely believe in them. It is their soul's truth. But many others follow these codes only when it benefits them, when it is convenient, or when they are being watched. This is why those who rely solely on their own honesty, their own generosity, or their own sense of fairness without a deep, unflinching understanding of this darker side of human nature often find themselves at the mercy of those who are more strategic. There exists a crucial distinction that you must grasp: the difference between morality as a personal belief and morality as a survival tool. Those who treat morality as an absolute, unshakable principle often struggle immensely when faced with the harsh realities of a world that does not share their conviction. They are easily shocked, easily wounded, and easily manipulated. But those who understand that for many, morality is a tool, a piece of a larger strategy, something to be employed or discarded based on the situation, these are the individuals who can navigate the world without being destroyed by it. This is the essence of what Machiavelli meant when he wrote about power. He didn't instruct people to become evil. He instructed them to see the world as it is, not as they wished it would be. When you internalize this understanding of human nature, a profound shift occurs within you. You stop expecting unconditional fairness from those who primarily benefit from taking advantage of you. You stop assuming that your good intentions alone will act as a shield to protect you. And most importantly, you begin to make decisions not based on blind trust or hopeful idealism, but on a clear-eyed, sober understanding of reality. This is not about becoming hard or cold. It is about becoming wise. It's about learning to protect your light so that you can share it effectively, rather than having it extinguished by the darkness of others' unenlightened self-interest. True strength lies not in ignoring the darkness, but in understanding it so thoroughly that it no longer has power over you. It's not just about who you are on the inside, it's about how others perceive you on the outside. This is a critical law of power. People do not follow the most moral, the most intelligent, or even the most capable leader. They follow the leader who appears to be the most strong, the most decisive, and the most in control. They are drawn to the energy of certainty. History has validated this truth time and time again. Charismatic leaders rise to power not necessarily because their platforms are the most righteous, but because they project an aura of unshakable authority and confidence. In the corporate world, CEOs who speak with conviction and command attention are more likely to be trusted and followed, even if their actual decisions are no more brilliant than anyone else's. In social settings, the person who walks into a room with an air of quiet self-assurance, who doesn't feel the need to prove themselves, is naturally perceived as more important, more interesting, and more worthy of respect. Perception creates power. Machiavelli understood this principle better than anyone. He famously wrote that a ruler does not need to be truly virtuous, but he absolutely must appear virtuous. He doesn't need to be ruthless all the time, but when he is, his actions must be perceived as necessary and justified. He does not need to be loved by all, but he must never, ever be perceived as weak. The way you carry yourself, your posture, your confidence, your body language, the tone of your voice, and the very energy you project, this silent language, determines how others treat you far more than your words or your good deeds. Those who hesitate, who constantly doubt themselves, or who perpetually seek validation from others are quickly dismissed. Their energy broadcasts uncertainty, and the world, which craves certainty, will instinctively turn away from them. On the other hand, those who act with certainty, even if they are internally wrestling with doubts, often find that people are willing to follow them. This is why the most powerful individuals in history, be they politicians, business leaders, or even masterful manipulators, carefully and consciously control their public image. They understand that power is not always about having the right answers. It's about making others believe that you do. The world does not reward silent competence. It rewards projected confidence. It rewards those who master the art of controlling their perception. If you allow others to define how they see you, you will always be at their mercy. But if you learn to project strength, to command respect through your presence, and to consciously shape the way people perceive you, you will hold power even before you take a single action. You will define the terms of the engagement before the game even begins. Information is power. In a world of constant communication, this truth is more potent than ever. Those who reveal too much about themselves make themselves hopelessly vulnerable. In today's culture, people are obsessed with sharing, or more accurately, oversharing. Social media, casual conversations, even professional interactions are filled with people broadcasting their every thought, their secret plans, their deepest weaknesses. They believe that this transparency creates connection, but from a strategic perspective, it is a catastrophic error. Machiavelli held a very different view. A wise ruler, he argued, does not reveal all his thoughts. Why? Because the moment you expose everything about yourself, your intentions, your fears, your next move, you lose control. The more people know about you, the easier it is for them to manipulate, predict, or undermine you. Every unnecessary detail you reveal, your fears, your ambitions, your insecurities, becomes a potential weapon in the hands of others. Consider this in the context of negotiations. It is a known fact that the person who speaks the most often loses leverage. They reveal their position, their needs, and their limits too soon. In friendships, the one who is always seeking validation, always sharing their every doubt, often ends up being disrespected. Their neediness repels the very connection they crave. In the world of business, revealing all your strategies too early allows your competitors to outmaneuver you at every turn. People who constantly over-explain or feel the need to justify their actions are perpetually placing themselves in a weaker position. They are giving away their intentions, their inner workings, making it effortless for others to anticipate and counter their moves. The most powerful individuals throughout history were often the most unpredictable, not because they were erratic, but because they masterfully controlled the flow of information. They spoke only when necessary. They never revealed more than was required. They left people guessing. This created an aura of mystery and authority that was far more powerful than any loud declaration. Think of the leaders who command respect effortlessly. They don't rush to explain themselves. They don't share their every passing thought. Instead, they let others wonder. They let others assume. They let others chase after their approval. You must learn this sacred art. Speak less. Observe more. The less you say, the more you learn about others, all while keeping your own power, your own plans, and your own vulnerabilities shielded. Avoid the modern trap of seeking constant validation. Needing approval from others makes you entirely dependent on their opinions and whims. Silence, on the other hand, forces people to respect your presence. Be intentional with every word you speak. When you do choose to speak, make it count. If every word you utter carries weight and purpose, people will begin to listen more attentively. Master the art of mystery. Keep your future moves and your deepest personal thoughts private. Let people see only the carefully curated persona you choose to show them. Let them earn the right, through loyalty and trust, to know more about the real you. Machiavelli understood a timeless truth. Power is not just found in actions, but in perception. And the most powerful perception of all is the one people can never fully figure out. What is too available is never valued. This is a universal law that applies to everything: money, time, opportunities, and especially people. The more accessible and predictable something is, the less people appreciate it. Yet, the vast majority of people operate under the delusion that always being present, always giving, and always saying yes will make them more liked, more respected, and indispensable. In reality, it achieves the exact opposite. The person who is always available becomes predictable and, therefore, easily taken for granted. The person who always gives without limits is seen not as generous, but as a resource to be depleted. The person who never sets boundaries is treated as an option, never a priority. Think about it. In the workplace, employees who always say yes to extra work rarely get promoted. They just get more work piled on top of them. Their willingness is exploited, not rewarded. Friends who always make time for others, dropping everything at a moment's notice, often find that their own needs are consistently ignored when they are the ones in crisis. The partner who constantly chases in a relationship, always initiating contact, always trying to fix things, often ends up being undervalued. Their constant presence removes all mystery, all challenge, and ultimately, all respect. Machiavelli understood this principle intimately. Respect is built by maintaining an air of mystery and control. If you are always around, always giving, and always saying yes, you completely lose your perceived value. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and rulers in history knew how to use strategic absence as a tool of power. When you step back strategically, people begin to miss you. Your absence makes them value your presence more. When you speak less but with more impact, your words carry more weight. When you give selectively rather than constantly, your generosity is valued more. This is why celebrities, top CEOs, and influential figures do not make themselves available to everyone. Their scarcity creates demand. People crave what they cannot easily have. So how do you apply this to your own life? First, stop overgiving. Give your time and effort as precious gifts to those who truly appreciate and reciprocate, not to those who simply expect it. Second, be selectively present. Show up when it truly matters, but don't be constantly available. Create space. Make people wonder when they will see you next. Third, and this is crucial, master the art of saying no. Saying no does not make you a bad person. It makes you a respected person. It teaches others that your time and energy are valuable. Saying no dramatically increases the value of your yes. It forces people to respect your time and your boundaries. And finally, create an aura of mystery. Don't reveal everything about yourself at once. Let people earn the right to know the deeper layers of who you are. Machiavelli's lesson is crystal clear. Scarcity creates power, controlled presence builds authority, and strategic distance commands respect. He was not against kindness. He was against the weakness that comes from offering it without wisdom. There's a dangerous myth in the modern world that being kind is enough. That if you are good, honest, and giving, the world will eventually reward you. But time and time again, reality proves otherwise. People take advantage of kindness when it's not backed by strength. They exploit honesty when it's not protected by strategy. And they ignore those who demand respect but do nothing to enforce it. Machiavelli understood this. He didn't say, be cruel. He said, be strong. True power, the kind that endures, comes from balancing kindness with intelligence. Think about the most respected leaders, the most influential people in history. Were they kind? Yes, often. But they were never weak. A wise leader rewards loyalty but does not hesitate to remove threats. A strong individual helps others but never at the cost of their own survival. A powerful person chooses their battles carefully, instead of blindly trying to please everyone. Kindness is a choice, not an obligation. It must be given to those who deserve it, not to those who simply expect it. And it must always be balanced with the ability to say no, to walk away, and to protect your own sacred interests. The ultimate question remains, and it is a question for your soul. Will you stay naive, or will you take control? The world does not reward passive goodness. It rewards those who know when to be kind and when to be firm. So, the question is, will you keep waiting for the world to treat you fairly, or will you take control of your own fate? The choice, as always, is yours. If this video has altered the way you perceive the world, don't let the awakening stop here. Power is not just about knowing, it's about applying. Most people will hear lessons like this, nod in agreement, and then go right back to their old patterns. Do not let that be you. Starting today, observe the world differently. Notice how people respond to projected strength. See how those who are overly kind without strategy are taken for granted. And most importantly, start making real, tangible changes in your own life. You don't have to be ruthless, but you must be aware. You don't have to be cruel, but you must be in control. If you want respect, power, and influence, you must learn how to balance your divine kindness with sacred intelligence. And if you are ready to continue learning the hidden truths of power, psychology, and human nature, then subscribe now and turn on notifications. Because in a world that often rewards the ruthless and the strategic, knowledge is your greatest weapon.